Good evening, I'm Dennis Ward, and this is Face to Face. Our guest this week is Mohawk singer-songwriter Shawnee Kish. Shawnee was the winner of the CBC's 2020 Searchlight Talent Competition. Her 2023 release, Revolution, earned her 2 2024 Juno Award nominations. Shawnee has released a handful of new singles in 2024, including the new Christmas song, Favorite Gift, inspired by her baby daughter. She was also named one of TikTok's 2024 Indigenous Visionary Voices. Shawnee, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
That's quite a resume you have right there off the top. We're lucky to have you here in studio because you're part of the 2024 CP Holiday Train Tour. The tours across Canada and the United States, raising money for food banks and awareness for food banks. Why is that a project that you wanted to get involved with?
We're spreading joy, we're spreading music, and music is medicine, and it always has been for me in my own life. So that's a very special, fun thing to be able to do and to reach these kind of smaller communities. But what I love most about it is the communities, seeing all the communities come together, and us as artists come together, and the staff of the train and everybody just come together as a community to do something that can help someone who's at a time of need in their own lives, And so I remember in my own journey when I've needed to ask for help. And so it just means a lot to me to be able to use what I love so much and put it towards something that can help someone.
I mentioned to you before we started the show that when I lived in Northern Ontario and I went to some of the smaller communities, Nipigon and Marathon, places like that don't typically get to see a concert, never mind like numerous artists getting together. What's it like being on the road and going to some of these smaller communities? It's
so much fun. It's so funny because so I'm the opening act and I do like a Christmas little thing when the stage door comes down and we have no idea what's on the other side. So it's always so much fun when that door comes down and there's like 100 little school kids ready to have fun, or it's, a community of people. Last night one of the nights we were in Winnipeg, and it was a huge turnout on both sides of the stage, and it was just so powerful.
I don't know why I thought this. I have gone to the holiday trains before and just for some reason assumed like maybe they flew you to the next place, which isn't even possible in Northern Ontario. So how cool is it to be on the train and traveling the country?
Oh, you were on that train. Yeah. You eat, sleep, breathe. We all hang out on the train, and it's really cool. It's such a great experience. It's like it very much is one of a kind, and it's so funny because I've had a lot of friends who have been on the train in the past, and we're trying to get like the inside scoop of what it's going to be like to anticipate. Mm-hmm. And everybody says the same thing. It's like you just have to experience it to understand. It's amazing. It's magical. And it has been that. It's just like watching the scenery go by out your bedroom window of what Canada is and the nature and the beauty of Canada, and then getting to stop, perform for a community of people. And there's up to we've done 7 shows a day. So it's hard work, but It's so rewarding in so many ways.
Yeah, I can imagine along the North Shore of Lake Superior must be pretty beautiful and scary in my mind, as big bodies of water like that. I had mentioned to you what was it like to be back on the road, but I guess this is kind of the first big tour for you. Can you tell us about that?
Well, yeah, it's so weird to say that because feel like I've been doing this for so long, but I guess I've never actually done an official tour like this where it's back to back to back. Kind of normally, during festival season, and it's going out, doing a couple shows, coming home, that kind of thing. So this is definitely the first chunk of time that I've gone, and for a bit of time, and it's like my debut tour experience.
Right. We've had some people on the show who, musicians who don't really like to do live shows or find it like it can be scary, stuff like that. Is live performance pretty important for you?
Especially during this experience, you know, it's a lot of chaos during, you know, holiday season and family and all those kinds of things. And to be quite frank, it's like kind of pulling at me on this side, but being able to perform, it's just another reminder of why I do what I do. It gives me so much medicine, and it reminds me of my purpose. It reminds me of why I'm here and why I'm an artist. It just feels so good to be able to. I feel most myself on stage. Yes. I feel, you know, you hear a lot of people say, "Oh, my alter ego comes out on stage." And for me, it's Shawnee comes out on stage and gets to be who I really am, and I feel so much safety in that. I love performing so much, and I love connecting with people and seeing what music can do for people the way that it does for me.
The Holiday Train Tour is coming at a good time as you've just released a new Christmas song. Can you tell us about Favorite Gift?
Yay, I released Favorite Gift. I was holding my daughter. She was very little, like maybe 2 months old or something, and sitting there thinking about Christmas, and, you know, just in my studio at the piano, I'm thinking about Christmas, and with her, you know, this love and light and brightness that she brings into my life. And I'm so excited to see, you know, when she understands the holidays and being able to look forward to it and being able to be a part of, you know, the community and giving back during the holidays and how important that is, just all of the things that I want to do with her and being able to experience Christmas through her eyes. And it became a song. I don't often write songs that are, you know, kind of, a lot of my songs are more like self-reflective and mm-hmm. kind of the journey of healing, which is important. But this song was about the joy of just what she brings to my life and how much peace and happiness she has brought, and being able to share that with her. So she's my favorite gift on Christmas, and it made so much sense to, you know, I can't wait to put it on when she can finally, with her little legs, stand up and dance and be able to dance with her during that time. But yeah, that's what it's about.
It's pretty awesome. My kids are a little older at that stage that you're talking about, and it's a pretty great time of the year, minus the I want everything I see on TV bit. But you last holiday season released a version of the Christmas classic Silent Night. Is Christmas a special time for you?
It's become a special time for me, yeah. You know, just being able to create those memories with my family, with my wife, with my now daughter, and it's definitely become a very special time just to, you know, I want my family to be able to look back on the holidays and think of it in a very positive light with memories made, and that's the most important thing to me.
Awesome stuff. I think it's safe to say 2024 has been a pretty big year for yourself, including the release of 5 songs. You know, you mentioned a lot of them are introspective and stuff. Maybe if you could tell us about a couple of the new ones, Brother and Dear Dad.
Yeah, I have used music heavily to heal, and there's a lot of that going on lately. You know, and so my song, Dear Dad, I've been trying to write that song since I was little, and I lost my dad when I was really young, and I didn't get to say goodbye, and struggled with kind of life now without him and not having him to lean on. And so I guess they say as a songwriter, when things are really heavy on your heart and it's not time yet to kind of get it out, it's difficult, and which is why we have songwriter friends to kind of do that with. But I woke up, I was at a songwriting camp, and I woke up in the middle of the night and I just started writing, because it was like it came to me that exactly what I wanted to say, the things that I wanted to say to him, and it was such a release for me to be able to say that and now share that song, and which a lot of people have used, who feel the same way about, you know, their situations and their fathers that, you know, were in the same position. So, you know, that's, and then, yeah, there's that, and I'm Alive, which is a song about taking my life and using the struggles that I have faced and the points of my life that were the hardest, but turning it into something which I continue to do even today, is really focusing on using that part of the struggle and putting it towards something that can make a difference. Because if I can use my pain as a light for myself or even someone else, it's kind of what drives me. If I can use it to light the way for someone else, then I know that my life served a purpose. And so that's what kind of just drives my whole journey. And I'm really trying to open up more. You know, I've spent a lot of time covering up who I am in a lot of ways, and so just peeling the layers back in my music and really getting into what makes me me and focusing on that with my music, and those songs are, I think, definitely reflect that.
Right. Shawnee, hoping to talk more about your songwriting process. We just have to step aside for a quick break, and then we'll continue the conversation here on Face to Face. Stick around. Welcome back to Face to Face. Our guest this week is singer-songwriter Shawnee Kish, and we've been talking about what a big year it's been for you, and in particular about songwriting, and talking about Dear Dad, that song gestating for years. You know that you help out with songwriting camps and stuff like that as well. What's the process for you?
With songwriting, it's been definitely a journey. As I said, it's like easy to say, you know, you're going to go and you're going to write a song, but it's harder to, I guess it's harder to, you're asking yourself to put vulnerability out. And for me, that's something that I have struggled with. As much as, you know, I love being on stage and I love performing, it's definitely something just through my journey, just spending those years, and especially younger, coming from a place of struggle and working hard to hide myself from people, and then going to, you know, a writing room, a writing desk, a writing situation, and asking myself to forget, release all of that and just go. It's just seems like such a tall order sometimes. But that's what I love about being an artist. It's just challenging. It's made me grow in so many ways that has forced me to look into the healing that I'm responsible for. I need to show up and instead of sort of, you know, I guess like dissociating from those parts of myself, really taking ownership of what makes me me. Right. And so writing has been difficult at times, but rewarding also, and a very fascinating journey. Right.
Well, paid off, obviously. You were, as we mentioned, nominated for 2 Junos this past year. In past years, too often Indigenous people are kind of placed into that Indigenous category, which you were nominated in, of course, but you were also nominated for Adult Alternative Album of the Year. Do you feel that there's, you know, Indigenous artists are getting more recognition out of whatever name that category is called this year?
I think there's still quite a bit of way to go. But I also feel like, yeah, there's some places that are being opened up for Indigenous artists to be celebrated, and I think that's amazing. I would love to see more opportunities for Indigenous youth, young creators who could really be inspired by those opportunities. I would love to see that. But if I could use my journey, you know, to somehow use my platform, my stage, my skills, my gifts to do that, you know, and being nominated is a great example of just, you know, of being able to show up as an Indigenous person and be in the room and share my story and my journey, and so that, you know, can also reflect down to young Indigenous people who need to see that the same way that I did when I was younger and needed to see that. But yeah, I think there's still some ways that we could, I always encourage any, you know, especially big corporations and businesses, if everybody does one thing so that young Indigenous youth have an opportunity, one that they wouldn't have, you know, being in remote places, if they have that chance to be heard, feel seen, it would make a huge impact, especially using art to be able to do that. Art is such a great way to do that. So that's a long answer because I'm very passionate about that, and I don't even know if that answers your question, but.
It doesn't matter. It was a great answer to any question. Shawnee, do you feel that the music industry has been welcoming to you?
No, not always. To be really quite honest, I could say yes and say, but no. Yes, in some ways, but no in others. I think especially when I came out, you know, first like kind of into the scene and I released some music, I was encouraged to not be out as a two-spirit person. And that was what I was told would help all genders feel included, which was specifically, we're going to talk about men, to feel included in my journey, which nobody's excluded in my journey, but I guess maybe that made some people feel like from a perspective that, you know, it's the answer is no, not always. And especially I feel lately that being a female in the music industry, I've also kind of feeling struggles with, and being an Indigenous female specifically. I'm being quite frank. For some reason, I'm being very, very honest right now.
Go for it.
Yeah, just, you know, I feel like I definitely think there's a lot more space for female Indigenous artists to be celebrated in the same way that, you know, I think there's so much power and beauty that female Indigenous women hold, and I would love to see that amplified in a bigger way. There's a lot that we have to say and to offer that could help just the healing of our communities, and even, you know, with our art, the healing of, you know, so I struggle with that, to be honest. But, you know, I feel really lucky because I have been nominated for a Juno and a few Junos, and I feel really, really lucky to be in that position, and I'm grateful for that, and taking those opportunities and being able to turn them into something else for not only myself, but another person also. That's my goal.
Right. Any advice, you know, to people looking to get into the industry, Two-Spirit Indigenous women? Any advice or warnings for them?
Yeah, I think my advice to any young Indigenous person or female, you know, Indigenous artist would be, you gotta stick to who you are, because without it, it's you're at risk of getting lost. And I've been there. And so especially with art, it's so important that you show up with exactly who you are. And sometimes it's messy, you know, like sometimes we've been through some things that make it messy, and that's perfectly okay, I've learned, because those parts that make us who we are, the struggles that make us who we are, really have turned myself into, I can also be very strong. I can also be very determined, and I know that I'm a fighter, and I know that I'm a warrior, and that's because of the things that I have gone through. I have faced them and gotten around them or through them, whatever it took in order to be here at a time where I didn't think that was possible. So just to be able to never take no for an answer, no matter what, you know, ever, ever, ever. It's easier said than done, but if art is your passion and that is your gift from the Creator, then that is what you are meant to do, and nobody else can take it away from you. They can't make it, and they cannot take it. It's yours, and you say what it's going to be and what it's going to become, and no is just never an answer. Even if art is for yourself, it's truly, if that's your gift and if it's for yourself, then that is what you're meant to do, and you do it.
Awesome stuff, Shawnee. Hope to get to more here. The people in my ear are telling us we have to go to break, so we're going to do that, and then we'll continue the conversation here on Face to Face with Shawnee Kish. Stick around. Welcome back to Face to Face. Our guest this week is singer-songwriter Shawnee Kish. And Shawnee, we kind of talked about some of the organization, some of the things that you do. I mean, the CP train is for food banks and stuff. But the Kids Help Phone is an organization that you've worked with for a long time. Maybe a bit on why that's an important one for you.
Yeah, it's what I love about them is that it's the emergency call when you are at the very edge of your last bit of hope. It's the emergency call that you can make just to talk to someone, especially as, like, kids are so vulnerable. And, you know, I remember when I was younger, I felt the weight of the world, but feeling like tomorrow was not an option. And oh my gosh, looking back on it, I was like, oh girl, you have so much life to live, and how at risk I was, and how an important, you know, when you don't have someone in your life that you can call and say, hey, I'm struggling, or a parent or a family member or a friend, and you don't have that person, the Kids Help Phone is there for that phone call to pick up the phone, and or now they text and say, how can we get through this? And so that is what I love about them.
You know, you've talked about those struggles as a youth. What type of role did music, I guess, play in pulling you through all that?
Well, music saved my life. In those times of my struggle, I thought, I am alone. I am completely alone, and I don't know, I have a choice to make. Am I going to fight or not? And music, you know, I started writing things down and going, you know, before I built up barriers, I was able to go, this is what's happening, and then express it through music and art, and then suddenly I felt understood, like, and then I started performing and sharing my music, and I thought, oh my gosh, this can do something for someone, and now I have a purpose, I have a reason. Music saved me.
Awesome stuff. We mentioned, Shawnee, off the top that you were one of TikTok's 2024 Indigenous Visionary Voices. I'm not on TikTok, but I know that 900,000 plus followers, it's a pretty big number. You got a lot of people following you, liking your stuff. What is it about TikTok that you like?
I think it's just a place to express, you know, the things that I don't through music. So there's a lot of goofy that happens with my wife and I are always being silly. And I think for me, what I like about it is just a place where people can get to know me, but also feel good about, you know, just where you can go and you can watch our videos of me singing or being silly, or, you know, and getting to know myself, my family, who I am. And a lot of that has to do with just being silly.
Yeah. Well, good stuff, Shawnee. I wish we had much more time with you here. It's been a fun conversation. Appreciate you doing the show.
Thank you for having me.
And of course, we did go over time here, but if you want to see the whole show or listen to it, they're both available as podcasts, and the full show will also be on our APTN News YouTube page. But that is all the time we have for this week. Thanks for being with us. I'm Dennis Ward. We'll see you back here in 7 days.